So I specifically said I cannot handle spicy.
Yeah.
Okay, time out.
Hey everyone! Welcome to The Spice of Life. This is a new show that we've got going.
Yep.
Are you excited?
No, I'm so nervous. This was a really bad idea.
No, it'd be fun. My name is Ali. I'm sure you've heard that name kind of thrown around in other videos. It's because I'm usually the one who's behind the camera, filming and editing. So being in front of the camera today is...
It's your debut!
It's deeply uncomfortable for me.
Let's go.
Like it. But I'm excited that you are equally as uncomfortable for me as me for once.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain exactly how this idea came to be?
Yeah, if anyone's ever seen Hot Ones on YouTube, I love it. And I said, hey, Ali, let's do a promo video in the style of Hot Ones. And then you made this happen.
Yeah.
So let's go.
And he has no idea what we're eating today. It's all on me. I'm very excited.
It is 10 in the morning. I am exceptionally nervous.
So because of both that and the fact that you told me that you have a very low spice tolerance, I'm not going to punish you with like whatever 2 million Scoville
okay, thank you.
that they do on Hot Ones. Also, we both have to go to work right after this, and I don't want to deal with the consequences.
Okay. That being said, I'm a baby, so anything, anything past ketchup is going to be a revelation for me.
That was so difficult to shop for. So it's like, do we get like Dijon mustard? Like what level of spice can
Let's
we
start
handle?
with 2% milk and then go from there.
Okay, well, now in homage to the show that we're very clearly ripping off, we are going to start with some chicken, but instead of doing chicken wings, and we're not only going to be doing chicken, we're going to do some other stuff too, just to keep it interesting, but to keep it as a tribute to Hot Ones, we're going to be doing some chicken, but since this is the more like family-friendly, watered-down version, we're going to be doing some dino nuggies.
Yeah, I am familiar with the dino nugget.
Yes. And our first sauce that we're going to start off with is one of my quintessential sauces. This is actually from my fridge. I use it all the time, and it's sriracha.
Garlic fish sauce. I've never had sriracha.
You've never had sriracha?
Because it says garlic fish sauce on the label, and I was like, why would I want to eat fish sauce? So my wife and my oldest son eat it all the time. I've never tried it before.
So you've never had it before?
I've never had it before.
Also, I haven't had dino nuggies in like 15 years, and
I have them every 3 days.
I can't tell you how excited I was to eat it for like the first time in a decade.
That is very garlicky, and it is too hot.
Oh no.
Let's go. I'm feeling good.
You're feeling good?
I'm feeling so good.
Are you sure?
I have no regrets about any major life decisions.
Okay, good. So I did want to talk real fast about how we met. Because it was, I don't think people realize how long we've known each other for.
Very long time.
It was all the way back in the days of First 7th, before the Gathering was the thing. It was like the precursor to the Gathering.
I'm gonna have a second bite.
Yeah. And you were, as you said, a junior varsity associate pastor at the time.
It was my first ever pastor job.
Yeah, very exciting. It was my first ever kind of step into the AV world because the first thing I was doing for you was just click and slides.
I first knew you when you were a student in the youth ministry.
Yes, I was. And I was like 18. And then when I graduated, because I graduated kind of late because I was homeschooled so I could do whatever I wanted, I was like, oh man, what am I going to do now on Sunday evenings? And somebody was like, oh, well, this First 7th thing is starting up, same time as what like youth group would. And I was like, okay, I'll go check that out. And it was really fun. And then eventually you were like, hey, can you press next?
We needed someone who was reliable, who was tech savvy, who would show up and do the thing. And we knew you. And so I was like, it's going to be Ali.
Yeah.
And I have joked for a long time, but it is true. You have been to the Gathering more than anybody else.
I have.
Because I've even taken like vacations or been away, or I was on a renewal leave once, so I was gone for like 3 months. So you literally have been more than anybody else in the entire history of the service.
Yeah, even if you don't see me, I'm there.
Yeah, and that's why we say on the slides, Ali, will you throw the next slide in the service? Even if it's not you, we still call whoever's running the slides Ali.
And they know.
Yeah.
And they're definitely not hurt by it at all. It's fine. So how you feeling? Is this doable?
It is too hot, but it doesn't linger too much.
Well,
it cleans off the palate.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Sriracha is something that I put on. I cook a lot of Asian food at home because it's easy and it's delicious. And so this is basically what I put on everything that I eat at home. So I'm very used to it.
I have, my go-to is Chipotle Tabasco.
Oh,
That is my favorite. When you're just having
that is the least spicy of all the Tabascos.
It's the least spicy of all the Tabascos. I like the Chipotle flavor. And when you're just having like generic frozen vegetables,
yes,
it can help you power through some broccoli when you're trying to be good. So.
Speaking of Tabasco, actually, that's a great transition.
Okay, is that our second one?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Clint, can we get a refresh, please? Thank you, sir. All right. Yep. Next one up. Like I just said, Tabasco.
Ooh, the pride of Louisiana.
Yes, sir. Again, this is like, I put this on everything. If it's not like an Asian style and it's more like a Mexican style or whatever, breakfast tacos, whatever, Tabasco's is what is going on it.
I like it okay. Its smell is so
very
unique.
vinegary.
That vinegary smell.
I don't know how it's gonna taste on a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but this one to me is spicier off the bat, but it doesn't last as long.
It is spicier on the bat. I don't know. Do you know those? Remember those like diagrams of like the different parts of your tongue and like what they taste? Is like vinegary like the tip? That's what I feel.
I think that
got a lot of tip action going on.
I think that was a whole lie.
Is that? Oh, is it all fake?
I think so.
Oh no, that's not a real thing.
I don't think so.
Man, so much of 1990s elementary school is just being knocked out.
I can't believe they would lie to us.
I can't believe it.
Did you know that bears don't actually hibernate the entire winter?
What?
Yeah.
What are they
That's
doing?
also a lie. They sleep a lot, but they're not like just dead to the world for months.
Oh, they're just motoring around?
Sleepy.
Well, why does no one see them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just learning that we were lied to a lot.
Do you know that this is like they like make it in a cave? Is that true?
What?
There's something about like Tabasco, like wine. They like keep it in a cave on an island. Is this true? Fact check. Okay.
I'll Google it.
Is this true? Okay, so you can fact check this on the thing. Lance thinks that Tabasco has to live in a cave on an island before it is put into bottles. And then you can test if that's true or not.
I will look it up.
I also think that the movie Goonies is about a bunch of kids at summer camp.
Oh, yeah, I mean, basically.
Because I've never seen it. Okay, is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
The new mash is aged in white oak barrels for up to 3 years. A thick layer of salt is added to the barrel lid to create an airtight seal.
Here, Clint, will you come up here and read this so you can read into the microphone?
Okay, we're fact checking Lance's assumptions about.
Tabasco sauce is made with 3 ingredients: pepper, salt, and vinegar. The vinegar you talked about a minute ago.
Yeah.
They mash the peppers with a small amount of salt to create a new mash. Then they age it for up to 3 years. A thick layer of salt is added to the barrel lid.
Barrels in time.
Uh-huh.
Is there a cave?
Bottling and shipping is next, so no.
Is there a
Straining.
cave
The mash
or
is
an
strained
island?
to remove seed, skin, pulp. The mash is mixed within the
On
28
Avery
days.
Island.
On Avery
In
Island?
South Louisiana, but there's no
Okay,
cave.
is there a cave?
No, it's just like a warehouse.
Clint, Google Tabasco cave, yes or no?
Tabasco.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Okay.
Thanks. Oh my god. So on the
Still on the tongue.
subject of like spicy and sort of weird food, if we're going into cave talk,
Uh-huh.
what's one of the like, spiciest things that you've ever eaten?
I went to a restaurant in Newport Beach
Uh-huh.
where we were visiting family that lived out there,
Uh-huh.
and we were having Bloody Marys in the morning.
Okay.
And my wife made big talk about how spicy she wanted hers to be,
Uh-huh.
and they got like really like passive aggressive and like over spiced it.
Yeah.
And me innocently caught some of the drive-by, and they like over spiced mine.
Oh no.
And it was the most unpalatable thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
What kind
So
of spice did they put in it? Do you know? Just like chili?
pure fire from hell
Oh,
was what
okay.
they put in it. Yeah,
Okay.
it was the most inedible thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That was the spiciest thing I've ever tried.
Okay.
It took me like a month to recover.
Oh.
Oh, and one time in Chicago when we were living there, Elizabeth made a gumbo that gave everybody like it was like a borderline hospitalization for everybody. And then she and her other friend just ate it up. I have an unequal spice tolerance marriage
Sounds like it.
that creates some real need for conversation. You have to talk that through stuff before you get married.
Okay. Do you have answers?
I have the answer, yes. So, no, Tabasco
Oh.
sauce is not made in caves. Okay, but listen, but the Salt Dome on Avery Island, Louisiana, where Tabasco is made, does have caves.
Okay.
So it's
okay.
not made in the cave.
It's cave adjacent.
It's cave adjacent. It's a cave adjacent. This is the best nearly underground hot sauce that I think I know. The tip of my tongue feels like it has split a little bit.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, like it's a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that the spiciest thing I've ever eaten, my parents and I used to grow peppers in our backyard and make like jellies and jams out of it because we also had a peach tree.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine like Mike's fig jam that he makes for us, but
Pastor
like,
Mike, yeah.
with like habaneros in it.
Okay.
And so we used to go jalapenos, Tabascos, and habaneros. And so of course, as a child, like 8 or 9 years old, I was like, it can't be that bad.
Surely, this is a fruit. Peppers are a fruit.
Well, it tastes good and sweet when it's in a jelly, right?
Yeah.
So I just ate one. I think it was one of the habaneros or Tabasco or something. And yeah, I was sick. I was ill.
That's awful.
For days.
Yeah, I grew up in a pepper growing family. So my whole life, my East Texas family, at every meal, in addition to whatever was on the plate, there would be a secondary plate that gets passed around that has sliced white onions, tomatoes, and jalapenos. Ooh. And so every meal that people would eat, I wasn't really a big partaker, but they would also be eating raw onion and jalapeno. That's a very East Texas thing.
Yeah.
So.
That's intense.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're done. Allie, this was wonderful. Thank you so much. Everybody come to church.
Next up, we have chips. Let's go and transition on to our next snackies.
Hey.
All right. Next up, we've got chips. So the first one of my favorites. I wanted to get Takis, but they didn't have it in like a small enough bag. So I opted for my second favorite, which is hot Cheetos. Now, I could eat a whole bag of this if I really wanted to, but of course I would feel sick just from like the amount of processed red dye that's in it. Of course. But as far as spice goes, in my opinion, these are not spicy at all. Xavier and I were just talking about how we think that they've actually lowered the spice level on these because we both had some before the show and we were like, this isn't spicy at all. What do you think?
That's not spicy at all.
Oh my God, we got one. Guys.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, it's just delicious, right? It's
just
like
nothing. That's just chips.
Yeah, it's just kind of the citric acid. Tastes really good, but like that's the only like.
And my nose is running all of a sudden, so I don't know if that's a post-Tabasco thing or
eat more.
One time, one of my children, have you ever seen like cold Takis? You know what I'm talking about?
Like the blue ones? I've seen them.
That have like, one of my children ate one of those so much that they became ill to their stomach, and I'll leave it there. And I will say that is the most messed up thing I've ever seen in my life. It was the most science fiction movie thing that's ever happened in my house.
You're like, oh God, it's being born.
Yeah, I put like cold Takis in reverse is unreal.
That sounds
It was a real come to Jesus moment.
Anything with like blue food dye in it, I'm like, I don't know if we should be eating that.
You really shouldn't.
You know, I've heard so many things about red food, like red 40 being like horrible for you.
There were a lot of elementary school rumors about that.
And so I think that one might actually be legit because I've heard more recent studies about that recently.
You get Food Dye magazine too?
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one.
No,
cool.
It's you and me, buddy.
That's
it. So I did want to talk to you about, Clint mentioned that you recently for your 40th birthday went on a tour of food in Texas.
It was a Houston eating trip.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Houston is such like a melting pot of culture.
It's like when my stereotype of Houston is like dudes in cowboy hats in oil and gas and that's it.
Yeah.
Is apparently the most ethnically diverse major city in the United States.
Yeah.
And so we wanted, for my 40th birthday, Elizabeth and I went on a vacation and the only agenda item for 3 days was restaurants. And so we went to a Malaysian street food restaurant that was incredible. They had it was something called Feed Me, and it was just samples of every single menu item.
Oh my god.
That was so good.
That sounds awesome.
We went to Le Jardiniere, which is technically there's no Michelin starred restaurants in Texas yet because Michelin hasn't yet come, but they have a sister restaurant in Florida that does have one. So it's it was my first experience with like the super fine Michelin star dining, like French cuisine. It was so good. We went to Hugo's, which is a guy who grew up in the mountains of Mexico that comes to America and starts just washing dishes and works his way up to a James Beard award-winning chef. And it's like rustic, rural Mexico traditional food.
Yeah.
I highly recommend the eating vacation. It's the best way to travel.
All right. Well, you said that these were easy.
These were easy. Come on. So what are we even doing here?
Let's go ahead and move up to our next thing, please. All right. Next up, we have classic for Texas, Tex-Mex, chips and salsa. And we have our favorite brand here, which is Clint's brand.
You made this?
No.
No, absolutely.
There's a guy in San Antonio, but it's really good.
It is local. I thought.
Extra mild? Double mild? Triple mild?
No.
Okay.
It is hot.
Okay.
We did taste test it beforehand, and Clint and I both really like it, so I don't know what that tells you.
I've never intentionally bought the hot of any salsa in my entire life. We have a different salsa. Dainty. being very defensive. How often have you filled yourself up on chips before the entree even arrived at a restaurant? 100% of the time.
Every time. If I really want to try an entree that I've been waiting to try, I have to tell them don't even bring the chips. I have zero self-control.
I need to go. I'm gonna start a restaurant that it's like, look, it's $14. It's just chips and salsa.
It's
but
what you want.
just hang out. We'll be right on it with the iced tea refills. That's the whole deal. Lance's chips and salsa, only extra mild.
How come whenever I eat Tex-Mex, the only drink I ever want is iced tea?
Because it goes together.
Yeah.
It's perfect. This is not hot.
Yeah?
No.
Guys,
No, this is not bad.
we're changing him.
Yeah. Maybe I've like already done, like, sriracha was hotter than this.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think they're probably
This is
the same.
hot?
Yeah.
Y'all are. I feel like I'm being tricked. I feel like there's.
I was worried about hurting you.
Okay.
So I was trying to take it easy and just get stuff that, number one, I could eat later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says hot. Yeah.
No. No
Yep,
way.
For realsies.
Okay.
No.
What's
Well,
Clint up to?
It just
That's
has,
sneaky.
It
If
just
I was.
has, serrano peppers in it. I was gonna get one with like habanero or ghost pepper, but I was like, ghost pepper probably. A little
Well, yeah. Let's not get grilled. let me immediately stop being
So,
arrogant.
yeah, you better calm down.
Okay. Let me calm down. That was.
We can't just run back to the store.
Okay. No.
No?
I'm already too nervous. Maybe the adrenaline is taking over.
Oh, maybe you're like kind of in shock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My nose is running.
It's like when you get tattoos and like at first you're like, oh, this doesn't hurt at all, and then like 3 hours in you're like, I want to die.
Yeah. Nose is running, so that's a sign.
Yeah,
That's
good.
objectively true.
Good. I'm glad at least you're having a reaction. I'm glad you feel alive.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your favorite restaurants locally right now? We just talked about Houston, but what about in Fort Worth?
My favorite restaurant is Enchiladas Olé, which I think a lot of folks are very familiar with. Have you been to Enchiladas
No,
Olé?
I
Oh
haven't.
no,
We're
yeah,
gonna go.
yeah, it's really good. My favorite is the mole enchiladas with chicken curry.
Dude, my mom used to make mole, and I was so
Yeah.
confused as to why there was chocolate in it. But
It is
was
extremely
so
confusing.
good.
It is like it sounds like a child made it.
It
It's like
does.
it's a chocolate enchilada.
And then it doesn't really taste like chocolate. I was deeply confused by the concept of baking chocolate as a child. But
Yeah, my eyebrows are sweating, so maybe it's
probably
catching
just
up.
the lights.
Maybe it's catching up a little
No,
bit.
it's just warm in here. You're fine. All right, you ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Next section, onto ramen,
Okay.
the classic.
I love your optimism with the chopsticks.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
Okay.
I know I'll be fine.
Okay. It's so hospitable. I know I can do it.
Yeah. So this is Maruchan brand spicy chicken, which is
Okay.
one of the ones that I eat pretty often, actually.
And this is like the 30 cents at the grocery store. We're talking.
It's like $1.49.
Whoa.
It's like the fancy ramen.
Bougie ramen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, for me, I could eat this whole thing and be totally fine. I think it's not spicy at all. I usually actually add sriracha to this.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
For what I'm assuming is powdered dry chicken.
Yeah.
Not bad on the flavor.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Very.
That's that extra $1.
That's
you
the
know?
extra dollar of.
Yeah.
I think that extra dollar might be pure salt. I think that might be all that's
I
in
think
it.
it's MSG.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And apologies ahead of time for the eating sounds. I can't. It's an eating show. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we might need to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
That was too big of a bite. It got spicier than I expected.
Yeah.
Not bad though. My bald spot is sweating. So when I say bald spot, it started as a bald spot. Now
Yeah.
it's just a whole situation.
Situation.
But this is edible.
Yeah.
I would not add anything to it.
No.
Okay.
So like with toppings, maybe I think you like eat a whole bowl of this, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a house of ramen eaters. I have a couple children that have graduated into self-managed microwaving.
Oh.
I think they would be interested in this.
Yeah. That's a good brand.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I wanted to ask you,
Uh-huh.
is this where you thought you would be when you first started here? Did you really think that starting as a as a junior varsity associate pastor, that number one, you would be senior pastor eventually, and number two, that this is what it would be like?
Yeah, I don't remember our predecessors having any food shows.
Tim didn't like prep you on
No.
how to be in front of a camera eating ramen?
No, that's a really interesting question because one of the core aspects of becoming an elder in the United Methodist tradition is that part of that journey of discernment and reflection that you do with yourself and with your family and with the people who serve on like committees of ordained ministry is our system has a 300-year history of a practice called the itinerancy. which means that the church as a denomination looks at the people all around the region and the pastors and tries to match pastors and regional needs and things like that. And so when you say yes to this call, you give up any sort of sense of self-determination, of like, this is the job I hope to have, or this is where I hope to go. It's like, I think the closest thing that people can imagine is like the army. You know, it's kind of like, I go where I'm sent. And so like a good example of that is, I don't have a resume. I've never applied for a job. I've never interviewed. Like, and you just go where you're sent. And so to answer your question, I feel incredibly fortunate and blessed to have been able to stay in one place for a period of time, because I was kind of prepared for the possibility of every handful of years you are literally moving into a new house and a new church and a new life, and my family was ready for that. And so to be in any place for a period of time is just really wonderful for the relationship standpoint, right? Like, hey, here's a colleague that I've worked with every single day for a decade. And then for that to be a place that's so cool. I love Fort Worth. I love urban environments. I love downtown-y, places. And so for those two things to be the same thing, both a lot of time, and I wouldn't have dreamed it. It would have been too much to ask for. So it's truly a dream come true. It's really great. Without being too mushy about it. No, I did not ever think that I would be so fortunate as to get to have any sort of longevity like that. So it's incredible.
Well, cool. Are you ready for our very last thing?
Yeah, I am.
All right, let's go ahead and get this switched out. Thank you, Clint.
Y'all keep the chopsticks.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more ramen, and then.
How are my chopstick skills?
Not bad, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
There's better than this? Because I thought this was pretty top tier.
For sure, yeah. Here's our last snack for the day.
Yeah.
It's another ramen. Now, I must tell you that we just discovered this morning that this is a Korean brand. It's called Samyang, I think. It's a bulldog spicy chicken noodles. We just discovered this morning that this ramen was actually banned in Denmark because they were worried that the capsaicin levels were hazardous to their health.
Okay, so if you're a Danish, this is literally,
you cannot
it'll
handle
kill you.
So if you have any Danish heritage, we need to talk.
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
I don't think I do. I think I'm mainly English and Irish. So let's go ahead and do this. Thank you, Clint.
All right.
I got some on my finger.
Oh, yeah, make sure to lick it off. Okay, now, before we take a bite, I need to ask you something, which is, when we first talked about this show, you said that it had something to do with this whole series, Do Unto Others.
Yes.
And I want to know how.
I just thought it'd be fun to do a promo video for the sermon series. And then I was like, well, it's an excuse for watching it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hot Ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Okay.
I was hoping for something a little bit deeper.
No, not really. The whole vision behind the Do Unto Others series is that we all naturally understand that we live in a time where there are all these cultural forces that make it seem like everybody's against everybody else. It's us versus them. There's no place in between. And a lot of people experience that in their workplaces, in their friendships, in their families. And that doesn't have to be true. And the Christian story, the Christian perspective, Christian values and ways of living are naturally oriented toward healing relationships, overcoming difficulties, finding common ground, etc. And so we're uniquely positioned to be good news in a time and place where a lot of people are feeling some angst and difficulty. So that's what the whole sermon series is about. And that's what I hope people experience when they come to church.
All right.
Okay. Did I tell you I'm 100% Danish? Did I ever bring that up? Yeah.
No.
I'm better at spice than I thought I was.
That's deeply disappointing.
That is the takeaway for this show. Is that
so we'll have to have you back.
So I specifically said I cannot handle spicy.
Yeah.
Okay, time out.
I was like, give it time.
Yeah, okay, time out a little bit.
Yeah.
This has a slower ramp up than the other one.
Yeah, make sure you get it all over your lips too. Make sure it's slurp real good.
Yeah, let's do the dab. Okay, I do not like this.
Personally, I just don't think it tastes very good.
Yeah, it doesn't have as much of the powdered chicken as I was hoping for.
No, yeah, it is just sort of capsaicin taste.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too hot.
It's too hot?
Yeah, that's okay. I feel like this is where we're supposed to end up.
Well, you know, I did suggest that we get the last dab from Hot Ones, and you said, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, because isn't it like supposed to peel the skin off your face?
It's only like 2 million Scoville.
And what do the Danes have to say about that?
Probably no. Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah. No, this is too hot. I don't like that. I don't like that food.
Oh, good.
That's not food. That's just hurt. Yeah, my ears are sweating.
Well, good.
How are you doing?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't taste great, but it's not.
You have some signs of distress.
Yeah, it's a little sweaty in here. I'll give you that. The body can only resist the reaction so long.
Yeah. How am I looking?
Good.
Good. I feel really good.
Do we have any powder?
Yeah.
Do you need some milk?
No. I think I'm still in the water phase.
Yeah.
I think I'm still water treatable.
Water treatable.
Yeah, I think that's an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is about mid, where I can like.
Yeah.
I could
tolerate
experience something past it.
Yeah.
Where I'm not enjoying it though. I'm not having food fun.
No.
With this, no. I don't think it needs to be outlawed. But it is hot, and I am done. I am finished eating that food.
Don't touch your eyes.
No.
Yeah, don't
Oh
touch
yeah.
those.
What?
Well, it's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do hot wings, because it gets all over your hands.
That's true.
Yeah, the nose is running a little bit.
Nose is running, clearing up the sinuses.
We were just talking about allergies behind the scenes. It is something that it definitely helps.
Yeah, I don't have the full outside of the mouth ring burn.
Yeah.
Everything inside is.
Everything inside is not happy.
Everything inside is not happy.
Yeah, my teeth hurt. Yeah.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
So how's the rest of your day gonna?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like I have a noodle stuck in my throat.
Awesome. Well, this was a great thing to do.
Yeah, I really appreciate the pitch.
You want to sign us off?
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again with somebody with a higher spice tolerance, so I get to suffer more too. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Okay.
God, it really does build, doesn't it?
That builds up.
Yeah.
That comes at you later.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I can smell it.
Want to try some?
No.
Do it. Coward, have a noodle.
It's not that bad. Like it
Especially
is.
not a noodle. You have to like eat a few bites of it to like.
That's the crown of my head.